Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and today we're going to be going over my StamSorc build for the Ascending Tide chapter. Before we get started, Daria would very much like it if you subscribe to the channel and like the video. So, enjoy the video. Alright guys, let's get started. First things first, we're going to look at our character sheet. We are going to be on our StamSorc, we're going to be an Imperial. Imperial is the best race for this because of the reduced cost built into it. That way, a lot of things cost a lot of stamina stuff on this build, so having that reduced cost, especially since the recovery on this build isn't that great, having that is going to really increase all of your overall sustain. And then for our attributes, we're going to be looking at 29 points into health and 35 into stamina. We have a lot of health on this build, so you could even switch it around to getting more stamina, or even if you need more magic, that's fine too. We have a lot of health on this build. It's at 37.7k right now, but that is also because I have an EMP bonus on here, so it's usually at around 35k or so. So 35k is still a lot on the StamSorc, so if you need more stam or magic or anything, slot your attributes accordingly. This is just the way I like to break it down personally. And then for our Mundus, we're going to be using the Warrior to increase our weapon damage by 238. And then we are also going to be using the garlic cod and potato crust as our food because it gives you the most amount of maximum health and stamina possible. And I just really like it. Anything else? Anything else? That's looking good on there. Let's look at our gear next. Our gear is going to be for our monster set. We're going to be running Magma Incarnate. For our helmet, we're going to be using heavy, and for our medium shoulder, we're going to be using impen as our trait. And before we even go any farther, as you can see, all of our body pieces are going to have prismatic enchants on it. So our helmet is going to be reinforced. Our shoulder is going to be impen. Our chest piece is going to be Wretched Vitality in the reinforced trait, Heavy. Wretched Vitality, what that does is it gives you, for the 2 and 3 piece, it gives you magic recovery and stamina recovery. The 4 piece gives you weapon and spell damage. And then the 5 piece, just to break it down into simple terms, it gives you a lot of recovery. It gives you an insane amount of recovery for both magic and stamina. So just having this alone keeps your sustain really high. So between this and then being an Imperial as your race, I don't really ever worry about my sustain at all on this build, so I love it. After that, you could just build purely into damage, so that's why I really like Wretched Vitality. And then I never got to explain what Magma Incarnate does. The 1 piece gives you magic and stam recovery, and then the 2 piece, whenever you heal yourself, you're going to be giving yourself minor courage and minor resolve. So it's going to increase your weapon and spell damage by 215, and then your armor by 3k. So that is just a really good way to stay tanky, but also increase your damage as much as possible. If you feel like you're if you feel like you have too much mitigation on this build, you could always switch this to Battle Orgs. I was using this at first because I was trying the 2H ultimate, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, so I switched to Dawnbreaker. So I really like this. I might switch to Battle Org in the future, but for now, I really like this. Our belt is going to be Wretched Vitality in medium in Impen. Our hands are going to be Trainee, medium, impen as well. Trainee, we have an extra slot on this build, so this is just going to give you that 1 piece of max health, getting that health up as high as possible. Our boots are going to be medium Essence Thief in Impen. What Essence Thief is going to do, this is going to be on your front bar. So this is going to give you the 2 and 3 piece is going to give you max stam. The 4 piece is going to give you weapon and spell damage. And the 5 piece, dealing damage with a light or heavy attack, draws essence from the enemy. So basically, whenever you light or heavy attack somebody, a green orb will flow away from the enemy. And if you get it, you're going to heal for 4.3k, and it's going to restore 4.2k stamina. And on top of that, it's going to increase your damage by 10% for 10 seconds. So it's free heals, free resource sustain, and free 10% damage on this. Out of all the sets that I've tried so far, this is the one that I like the most. I feel like Briarheart would work very well if you don't want to use this set. I'm sure that there are better sets than this, but this is just what I've been enjoying and what I've been really liking. So, don't flame me in the comments. This is just what I really like personally. And then our legs are going to be heavy Wretched Vitality and reinforced. Reinforced I like to do on my heavy pieces. That way we get the most amount of resistance as possible. So, heavy reinforced legs, heavy reinforced chest, and heavy reinforced helmet. As our jewelry, we're going to be using Essence Thief as well. It's going to be in the Swift trait with a weapon damage glyph. Our other ring is going to be Essence Thief as well in the Swift trait as well. Weapon damage glyph as well there. And then our mythic on this build is going to be a Markin ring in the infused trait with a weapon damage glyph. Markin, this is going to be since you have a 3-piece of both Wretched Vitality and Essence Thief active at the same time on both bars. This is going to give you 200 weapon and spell damage and 2300 armor. So, you know, min-maxing as much as possible. I really like Markin. Our front bar weapon is going to be a Maul of Essence Thief and the Sharpen trait with the weapon and spell damage glyph on it. This is going to give you the most amount of pen as possible. Weapon and spell damage isn't everything on every build. It's also about how high your penetration can get. So having a Maul with Sharpened really gets it to about 10k, and it's really about where you need it on basically every single build. So this is why I'm using Maul instead of a Greatsword or even the Nirnhone trait. And then our back bar, you can switch this to however you want it. Personally, I'm liking the dual wield swords, having the main sword being Nirnhoned, our offhand being powered, our Nirnhoned one having a shock glyph on it, our powered sword having a physical damage and restore stamina glyph on it. That way, when you're proccing your quick cloak, it's going to be proccing your glyphs as much as possible, so I really like it. This is going to really... You can also use bow if you want to go with more of a roll dodge build, but this is just what I really like right now, the dual wields, because I'll show you with my skills later on why. And with my skills on our front bar, we're going to be using Dizzying Swing as our main spammable. I know, guys, Dizzying Swing in 2022, it is kind of Resident Sleeper, but I don't know a better skill to use on this build. It's just... If you could line it up with your crystal weapon, that is a lot of damage right away. So if you're playing against somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, you're going to basically one-shot them just with that combo right there. So that's why I'm using Dizzying Swing. I know it's not ideal, but it's just the best thing that I found so far for this. Camo Hunter, this is going to increase your damage a lot. Just while having it slotted, it's going to increase your major savagery and prophecy. So it's going to increase your weapon and spell critical by 2,600. And you're also going to get minor berserk for 5 seconds if you deal damage from the enemy's back. So, you know, that's just free damage right there just by having it slotted. So that's why I really like it. And it can draw Nightblades out of stealth if you're close enough. So why not? Rally, this is going to be your source of minor endurance and major brutality, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 20%, as well as increasing your stamina recovery by 15%. And then you're also going to get a nice chunky heal at the end. So Rally is kind of a must on this build. I like the consistent burst heal of this rather than something like Crit Surge of the just a little bit of heals over time. So they're both good. I just like the burst. And plus on this one you get minor endurance. I don't think you get that on Crit Surge, so having that recovery go up as well is really nice. Crystal Weapon, I was talking about it earlier with Dizzying Swing. If you could line it up properly where you activate that and then Dizzying Swing Light Attack, is going to do a lot of damage right there. So that is why I really like Crystal Weapon on this build. It's a lot of upfront damage, and then if you get the enemy low enough, you could do the combo right into the execute and just finish off your enemy right there. And then as well, if you can get your Dawnbreaker down as well. Dawnbreaker, I miss my ultimate 95% of the time, but that one time that it lands and it's beautiful, it feels so good. So Dawnbreaker is what I'm really liking on this build. I also tried 2H ult, but I missed just as much on that build with that ult, so it might just be me being bad. I don't know. I just also having Dawnbreaker, you're also going to get the Fighter's Guild passive with both that and Camo Hunter, which is going to increase your weapon damage. So, Dawnbreaker is pretty nice. On our back bar, we have Ball of Lightning, but I like both this and Streak. I don't think there's a wrong morph to use on this build. I like to be having that mitigation for the Ball of Lightning rather than just having the CC of Streak. So they're both good. I just prefer this one. Quick Cloak, this is going to be your source of major evasion, so it's going to reduce the damage taken from AoEs by 20%. And then you're also going to be doing damage when you're having this active too, so I'll take every little bit of extra damage that I can get. And also Major Expedition on this build, so you're just going to be really fast with 2 Swift, this, and then also the Minor Expedition from Hurricane. And then Resolving Vigor, that's a huge heal that every stamina build should have. I don't really think anything else needs to be said about that. Dark Deal, this is going to be a really good heal, but as well as a really good sustain for you. You're going to be exchanging magic for both health and stamina. So this is just the best time to use this is right after you get CC'd. Hit your Vigor and then hit this so that you can't be interrupted, and you're just getting free chunky heals every second, basically. Then Hurricane, this is going to be your probably the best ability on StamSorc, without a doubt. You're going to be getting your Major Resolve and your Minor Expedition on this, so it's going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 6k and your movement speed by 15%, and you're also doing damage to all enemies inside of it. So I love Hurricane as my as this Major Resolve. It's probably my favorite source for Major Resolve in the game out of all of the abilities. And then Summon Charge Atro. It's up to you what you want to use on this back bar. I love this. I think it does a lot of damage, and I think it's really underrated as far as skills on StamSorc go. I use this all the time. It's a great source of line of sight, and if you're in an open field. And then also, it does a lot of damage. And then on top of it, with the... Where is it? In the Daedric Summoning passive, it's going to increase your stamina recovery by 20% just by having this active. So on your back bar, you can have even more recovery. That's huge. And then last but not least, our champion points. We're going to be looking at, for our blue tree, we're going to be having Ironclad, Duelist Rebuff, Master at Arms, and Deadly Aim. For our red tree, we're going to be having Pain's Refuge, Boundless Vitality, Fortified, and Celerity. And then the green tree is not too important. The only things that really matter are Breakfall, Rationer, and Liquid Efficiency. Everything else is kind of, yeah, it's kind of useless in this tree. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff, and, you know, leaving any kind of comment. I don't even care. Like, I do care what you say, but I just say anything. You know, if you made it this far, tell me what your favorite color is. I don't know. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy the video. I'll see you on the next one. Later.